everybody, Diane at Healing Bodies, Healing Souls, and let's talk about triggers. Nobody likes a trigger. And so I have been remembering this one story a few years back where I used to do a lot of massages, and everybody's Bob, so I'll call him Bob. Bob, I've known for about 6 years. He'd come in for a massage maybe once a month, sometimes a couple times a month, so I had seen him quite often. And he was a talker. He was a talker. He was also a police officer. And so he'd come in and he'd take off his gun, he'd unload it, and he'd lay it down on the table. And he did this 20, 30 different times, and I've never, ever had a problem, nor did he ever have a problem in my office. And so when you come into my office, I had a big main room, and then we went into the massage room. And so I always locked the front door. I'll repeat that. I always locked the front door. So I was massaging him. He's face up, and we're talking. And then he was quiet for a while. So I'm like, oh, thank goodness. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, he jumps off my table, grabs his gun, loads it, cocks it, and he's going to run out of the massage room into the main room because he heard the door open. Now, again, that door was locked, and I looked at him, and I'm like, stop, excuse me, I'll walk out first. So I opened up the door because, again, he's naked. The stories I have. So opened up the door. There's absolutely nobody. And the interesting part is there's been times where we've heard the mailman show up, and he'll slide it through the door. So we'll hear some noises. A lot of times I rented out another office, so someone was coming and going. So it wouldn't have been unusual for somebody to have been able to have access inside the main room. And he was really, really shook up. It was really hard and sad to see how really shook up he was. And so he apologized, of course, and he said he just needed to go, and he left. And then later I was thinking about him, and I know he served our country. He's a different style of police officer that has some intensity attached to it. And it was Memorial Weekend. So without knowing, because our bodies store so much, without knowing, I truly believe that he was triggered because of Memorial Weekend, because of his PTSD, because of his past. Oh, that's intense. He's a good man, good person. Been in my office. I've seen him like 30 times. But it happened to be a weekend where he was more on high alert without knowing. You'll see the Memorial Weekend sales. You'll see the different things people are doing for Memorial Weekend. And his body is just his body is, what's the word I want to say? Accumulating all of that again and again and again and bringing up the past. And he just couldn't handle that moment. So with that said, this is the month of January. And 2 years ago, my dad started getting really bad. And I haven't been good this month. And it dawned on me, this is my trigger. And I can go in and I can sit down and I can nurture all of that and I can release all of that. Just knowing that why I'm kind of low vibration, knowing and be able to trace it back is absolutely huge. And I believe that pretty much everybody has triggers. They're not aware of them. And what I do for a living is I find those triggers so we can release the attachment. We can release the fear. So Memorial Weekend and or the month of January can be safe. So thanks for listening. If you're ready to dive in, you know who to call. Namaste and thank you.